So this episode is going to be part of a series where I'm fixing all the problems on this Chinese mill. I bought it quite a long while ago and it was alright, seemed a bit tight, not so good, and the table used to get tight at each end of travel, and there's quite a bit of play on it actually, as you can see here. It's a 5/10,000ths of an inch indicator, and it's showing quite a lot. So all I'm doing here is I'm starting by just trying to adjust the Gibbs screws, and it's gone really tight, as you can see. I'm struggling to move it. So at this point I'm just thinking, right, I wonder if it's the lead screw. So I undo the bolts of the lead screw and it gets a lot easier. So I'm thinking it must be a problem between the Gibbs and the lead screw, so just cumulative. So I thought I'll tighten the Gibb back up, see what happens. So as it turns out, the play didn't get any better really. So I'm going to use the holes on the front, which were used for the table locks. I'm going to put M6 bolts in, and I'm going to use them as Gibb adjusters. So you can see it improves it quite a lot. So the other two bolts weren't long enough, so I used some little bits of brass to put in the end of the hole to press against the Gibb. What I think is the Gibb isn't actually the right angle. So because of this, it's a terrible fit. It sort of clamps at one end and not at the other, and it's a bit rubbish really. So I thought 3 adjusters all the way along, just like the lathe has got, would be more than adequate. So this shot shows the dial test indicator, which is 5/10,000ths of an inch indicator. You can see it's only moving between sort of one increment. So that's damn good enough for what I need, that amount of play. And the handle was a bit sort of small, and it was very lumpy when you moved it because you couldn't get the right amount of leverage on. I will put some more pins in this just to hold it straight, but it really does clamp strong enough. The bolt hole looks off centre, as the centre line of the handle where the original hole was isn't on centre with the casting. Also the handle was tight, so I just machined a bit off the back and bolted it on, oiled it up, and it works a lot better. So now I'm just setting up the thrust bearing. There's 2 sets of them in here, so it stops the lead screw from moving back and forth where it's meant to be, so it stops all the backlash. A bit later in the video you'll see that I've removed the thrust bearing from the other side and replaced it with a ball bearing, as you didn't need thrust bearings on both ends. Now I built this power feed a long time ago, and it just required a little bit of tickling up really. I'm just powering it off my drill's battery, and I'll show you what it does. So in the middle it's just using a socket straight onto a nut, and I've made a couple of flanges and a pin on that handle, which is a spanner that I didn't use. That just enables you to disengage it whenever you want. You see, it's good enough, it's strong enough to actually be a power feed for long cuts. I wouldn't call it like a rapid power feed, you couldn't rapid it up and down, but it's good enough for what I need. This shows the pocket for the ball bearings. It supports the shaft for the power feed. And this one shows the flanges. So I've just shoved some paint on really before for rust prevention. And this is a thumb screw for locking the slide. And this is the old version. It used to actually hit the table. So I just found a thumb screw a lot better. It's knurled, so you can get a good grip on it. And we're going to need a motor at some point. Of course, the original Chinese one died. So I'll just leave you with this still of the lathe and the welder being moved. As I've moved workshop now, I've built a new one. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video on the mill. I hope to make some more videos soon, as I have more time.